Hi, I'm making this video to speak of you about my interpretation of Fiore dei Liberi book. Recently I wrote an article. If you want you can find it down here, linked in the description of the video, so you can read about it. The book that Fiore wrote for me is not just a book that gives you techniques to execute. It is a didactical book in which you can learn principles that makes you a better fighter, going by the various techniques and various exercises. I want to begin with the Dagger section because it's so important and gives you the basis of its system. So let's begin with the first master. Commonly we look at the drawings of the book like a frame of a scene, a frame of the action that you have to replicate as closer as possible to the original. But I think that looking at the images in this way is wrong. The image is not just a frame of an action, as I said before, but it gives you the principles you have to follow. Let's see this example. I'm trying to replicate as closer as possible the image that we have on the book. Making the action in this way, it's wrong because you find yourself in a bad position. You have no structure, you are weak with your body in front of your opponent. I prefer to look at the image in this way. The image wants to tell us that you have to block your opponent's arm and you have to defend your face with your right fist. If we think to medieval artists that have to represent all this, and if we look deeply into Fiore's book, we see that he never covers his face. We see it especially in the armored section where we have the serpentina soprana, and he never let the sword be in front of his face. Now, I don't know if you ever wore an armor, but if you did, you know very well that you can't have your sword at the back of your head. Speaking of the Dagger section, we see the image in this way, but we have to look it in 3D, so rotate it in this way, and you see that the hand goes in front of the face. So the artist, I think, that draw it in this way to tell us the principles and remain in the artistic convention. Now, with this new way of looking at the image, we can understand what Fiore is telling us. First master is a first exercise on tempo and measure. He wants to teach us to respond to a first action of our opponent that is attacking with a mandritto fendente. We have now a correct position. We have our left arm extended to block the attack incoming, and we have our right hand protecting our face that is ready to strike or to defend from a strike. I'm speaking about striking, even if Fiore never tells us to do it. But I think it's an important thing when you fight an armored against an armored opponent. Striking with the right fist, I think, is important because the first master needs a little bit more to work correctly. If you try the first master in a realistic context, as you can see in this frame of video, I'm sure that this arm will not work. If you want on your gym, try it. Make your partner attack you and you have just to defend with your left arm. I saw a lot of times people do the first move correctly, but then they can't finish the technique because your opponent just have to strengthen his arm and you can't do the disarm correctly. So I thought that having the right fist in a correct position leaves you the time to defend from the attack and then strike your fist fast and then complete the disarm. You can strike your fist as you want. You can go for a direct strike, you can go for a hammer strike, you can go for a palm strike. I think it doesn't matter really much. And this is the reason why Fiore don't tell us anything about it. It's just you have to do it and you have to know that you can strike your opponent. And I think this is quite obvious. As in all Fiore's system, the footwork is very specific yet simple. To execute correctly the first master, we can consider it like scambiare di punta. I think that all these actions are made with a small step to the side that Fiore calls accrescer fora de strada. We have the left foot forward, so we have to move to our left. By doing this footwork, we go towards our opponent, and doing this, we open a line crossing our opponent's arm. We have this window of space in front of us where we can act and do our technique. In this case, the first disarm. With this exercise, Fiore tells us that we have to work with time and measure. We have to keep the attack going in the correct time. If we go on the arm too late, the weapon of our opponent will hit us. If we go too early, he can block his attack and retreat and strike again from another position. And we must be in the right place when we move to have a correct structure, to be strong in front of our opponent, and then be ready to strike our fist and then complete the disarm. In the end, we can say something else about the right arm. When we are in the correct position, we can even defend from a fist coming from our opponent. Because if we consider the action from the side of the attacker, we are delivering a blow with the dagger in our right hand, but we must remember that we have a left hand free. So when we attack and we feel the hand of the opponent on our arm, the natural reaction is to put the hand forward. And in this case, considering an attacker, the hand going forward can be another fist. So we have an attacker giving a right fendente with the dagger and then a left fist. Because I am defending in the correct position, now I can defend from any attack that comes from my opponent. I can defend a straight punch or I can defend a hook. We can see now that with a single sketch, Fiore gives us a lot of information on how to behave with an attacker that's coming with a right fendente with his dagger. So now you can practice a lot of things. You can practice the footwork, you can practice position, you can practice to blocking an opponent weapon, or in this case it's an arm. You can practice blocking the opponent's arm and then strike, all done in a single tempo. You can practice to block one arm, defend from another attack, and then strike and then execute a correct disarm. You can unpack it and practice in sections, like first the footwork, then blocking the arm, then making the disarm, and then add blocking the arm, giving a fist, and then disarm your opponent. I will make some other videos to speak about other masters, and then I will link all these masters to the system of Fiore and speak about it even with other weapons. I hope this video helps you in some way. If you want, you can contact me, and comments are always welcome. So, see you.